Hi, I'm Katie Steiner, and this is my project for CIT 381. I decided to research decision support systems, or DSS. That is a type error on the front of the screen. It is a DSS. Through this project, just a heads up, I focused on a question about importing and exporting cotton and what the future of it should be and how to decide if you should import or export. I am not an expert in this area, so the conclusions I've come up with, I would say inconclusive and I would not follow them. The main purpose of this research was to learn about a DSS. A decision support system lets operators analyze data and make decisions through planning, forecasting, and managing the business information. This kind of a DSS not only is for business, it goes in all industries and is used more than most people would think it is. And I'm sorry for the other type error on the DDS. It is a DSS. There are 5 different types of DSSs: communication-driven, data-driven, document-driven, knowledge-driven, and model-driven. And I'm going to explain each of those throughout the presentation, and in the end, we're going to kind of see which one's the best, or if any is better. Our communication-driven DSS. This is literally a discussion. It's talking with people, groups, bulletin boards, audio. When we vote for a president, that is a communication-driven decision. We're voting for it. One of the most popular new things for a communication-driven decision is social media. It's become a big influence. You can see this through companies doing social media contests where you can name a product or give feedback through medias like Instagram and Facebook. When it comes, I tried to demonstrate this through my own social media. However, compared to my friend group and the influences I have with the discussion of importing cotton and exporting cotton, it actually didn't work very well. So to have a communication driven, you need to know your target market, or you need to have the specific people, and you have to have a point of mind. I just threw my questions out there, and which probably wasn't the smartest thing. There should have been more planning and timing and targeting. A data-driven DSS. This in the analytic world is probably the most popular right now. This is where you take real-time data or external and you focus on finding the influences and creating systems and analyzing it and forecasting the future. A lot of BI systems are technically a DSS. Some of the popular ones right now are Tableau, Dundas, Microsoft SharePoint, Looker, Yellowfin, Power BI. Each business finds one that they like the most, depending on how much you want to pay, what the skills you have, who you've hired, and or what your objective is. Each of these programs is very similar in their objective. They just have different tools. Some of them require more programming. Others, you just lay in information and you help build upon it. I decided to demonstrate a data-driven model with our question of cotton through the program Tableau. Here are some of the sheets that I have built through the program and analyzed and figured out how to use it as a forecasting tool to help make decisions. In this first screen, we have a list of all the countries that import and export, re-export, re-import. And you have the forecast of the future of where the costs and the money is going. And in their chart shows which of the countries actually participate. Over here, we're given the options in Tableau to actually do analytics and forecasting. And you can see you could have a constant line, average line, box plot, forecasting tools. A lot of this in my business major, we actually do through Excel and calculating with a percentage of 95% and things. And so this tool is really nice that you could just click in there, put your data in, and you can forecast. The light blue box over here, this is the forecasted part to help make the decisions. Another nice thing about the Tableau program is that over here it has a show me bar. You can see it up here, it's right here. The show me, it actually shows you what kind of data information you need to put in to create charts and stuff to actually create that effect and see. So it helps you with your data to uncover the mysteries behind it. This tool wasn't the easiest to use. There was definitely a learning curve because I have worked with Power BI, and then coming to this, I would say compared to Power BI and Tableau, it's like a Mac versus a PC or an Apple versus an Android. Everyone had to have their preference. It's just learning how to use the tools because they're very similar, just a different interface. Then there's a document-driven DSS. And this, as I was learning about it, reminded me a lot of Google, especially the part of Google that collects all of the educational files. It uses a search engine, and it is political brochures, catalogs, history documents, libraries are huge document-driven DSSs. With technology, a lot of this is turned to the internet and have collected that. And with all of the resources. And so this is very helpful for research decisions, looking at the past, getting professional research, hearing from people who are skilled and educated in the area you're trying to make the decision. I could not demonstrate this because I don't have the resources, and collecting all the information to create this document or text-driven with Cotton importing and exporting was out of my range. But I could see how this could be very beneficial for companies that have time to actually read and understand the documents. The next type of decision support system is a knowledge-driven. This type is specialized for experts, for masters or PhDs and degrees. You seek out the people who know the most and you pick their brains. So this is a little mixture of a communication driven with this knowledge driven, but you having the experts and you're communicating with them and getting their knowledge to help make the decision in the future. For this, you'd have to have someone or the background to have a specialized and find an expert. Tax advisor is an example, especially when we're in tax season right now. A lot of people reach out to expert accountants or their firms, big financial firms, to help make decisions of what to do with taxes and how to best go through that process and what to best write off and things. And so that is an example of a knowledge-driven DSS. This is very nice if you have the time and you have the resources to get the expertise. However, if you're not in that position, this would not be a type of DSS that you'd want to try to create. The next DSS is a model driven. This is where you go and you actually create a visualization of the different options and the choices you can create. The parameters that are large databases are not actually needed. It's more of just you're thinking through the decision. Examples of this are decision programming languages, influence diagrams. A lot of projects start out model driven and help lead to the building into other DSSs. With my understanding, I would say this is a starter decision support system. It's harder to use and is not as effective in the decisions or efficient in the decisions that it creates, but it does help create a picture to help lead to better and more efficient other decision support systems. And to demonstrate this, I actually created a influence diagram. Here we have the decision to grow cotton. You have to go through and you answer all these questions. The green are yeses and the red circles outlines are no's. So going through, and if you have all yeses, you'd go on and go to this others if the country's needs are met, and so forth. If not, you go, is there a need? Yes or no? Okay, is there some place we could import from? Do we meet all these requirements? Can we import from them? If not, we have to go back to our suggestion of growing cotton, and so forth. Creating the decisions, and they can get really big or they can get really small, depending on how detailed you want to be. And this is the hard thing about model-driven decision support systems, that they're more of a creative and don't need the data. So there's no guidelines or rules. It's depending on the person who's using it for the decision. So this could lead, and you can take this and put it into a database driven, and you could try to answer the questions and figure out if the country is actually able to grow and if it's profitable to grow their own cotton. And you can see that because that's a big part or a big question in here. And you take each question and put it into another decision support system. But with this by itself, going through, and you can answer this question and you can decide to export your cotton or import your cotton. However, overall, it doesn't create the best forecast to the future. Overall, these are some of the things that I found were crucial and important to people when creating a decision or having a decision support system. Are they industry specific? Some of them, like communication and data driven. No, you can do them in any field as long as you have the information. And you can mix information. However, knowledge driven, you have to have the experts of that field. So it's more of a specific thing to what you're looking for. Human judgment is a human's thought process actually put into the decision. With communication, yes, you're getting it straight from them, and model driven. However, data driven is just from numbers and things. So you don't have that kind of human judgment to it. Does it require certain skills? Is trusted info or the expertise there? Is it easy to use? Is it universal? What's the accuracy? As we're looking at this, you can kind of see that it's all over the place. It kind of depends on the information that you're given, what your outcome you want, and the skills and the knowledge of the person trying to make the decision. of what decision support system they have used. Yes, knowledge-driven and document-driven come up with lots of X's because they come through, but they're more specialized. You have to have the resources, and you rely on other people and other things for that. And so everything has their pro or cons. It just depends on how you're going to make your decision. One of the biggest things that I learned through my research is that no matter if this is a gospel decision, a business decision, or a schooling decision, we all rely on something to help us make that decision. If it's communicating with a family or friends, you've got your communication driven. If you're looking at the past and research, data driven. If you like writing out and doing models and trying to find you picture things better, you use a model driven. So yes, a decision support system is highly used for people in upper middle management. However, we use these skills every day, and we're trying to create a decision support system in our life. And learning about these things actually helped me realize how I thought through decisions and helped me come up with a plan to be more efficient. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is the research I've come up with and kind of how it influences not only upper and middle class management, but an average every person. I hope you enjoyed my project on decision support systems. Thank you.